Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime and it is time to brawl. In this video we are going to be covering everything coming in the Brawl Stars update that Supercell is letting me show you. That includes pins, changes coming to boss fight, big game, and robo rumble, as well as several other changes, including additional balance changes that you guys don't already know about. I'm not going to be able to cover this new brawler in this sneak peek, so make sure you guys subscribe for a video on him in the future. You're definitely going to want to see it because he is awesome. Let's start off with pins. Now while I'm going to be talking about them, I'm going to be putting all of the pins up on the screen, one brawler at a time. Now, if you take any screenshots and share them with your friends, which I encourage you to do, make sure you tell them to use code Kairos. K-A-I-R-O-S, code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop. Make sure you tell your friends that code Kairos is the best code Kairos. Pins are currently only going to be able to use in the game room chat, but Brawl Stars is planning on adding support for them in battles on a later date. I'm guessing that it's going to happen sometime in July, but only time will tell. Now, one thing that's really important to note is that you can only unlock pins for brawlers that you have unlocked. So if you don't have Leon, you won't be getting any Leon pins. Sorry for rubbing it in if that just happens to be you. Every brawler is coming with at least 8 pins, and there are 3 types of pin rarities. Each brawler will have 4 common pins. A standard pin, which is just going to be the regular one of the brawler, a sad pin, a happy pin, and an angry pin. Now on top of that, each brawler will also have 2 rare pins, GG and thanks, which is oftentimes the one with the heart above it. It's really hilarious. And then of course, each brawler will have 2 epic pins. The phew with either the sweat drop or the oil drop, depending on whether or not they are a robot. And then of course the special pin. Now at the time of me recording this, I don't have all of the special pins because Supercell has not put them into the developer build that I currently have, but I'm sure that they're going to have it in the final build. Now these special pins may be possible to like be animated or possibly even golden, really special pins. And this means that this update is going to include well over 300 pins. For the first update that Brawl Stars is having pins, we're getting over 300 of them. That is super crazy. I bet Supercell's artists have been working on these for months because the level of quality and the detail on these is just awesome. Now let's talk about how you will unlock these pins. The standard gem prices are 10 gems for a common pin, 30 gems for a rare pin, and 50 gems for an epic pin. Now, I don't know how frequently individual pins are actually going to show up in the shop, and there's a chance they might not just show up in the shop individually for this update. Instead, the primary way for you to unlock pins are going to be through pin packs, which you can see below. Now, these pin packs will show up in the shop every so often. Now, unlike mega boxes or big boxes or token doublers, these pin packs are not going to be purchasable all of the time. So when you see them in the shop, you should buy them, assuming you're a gemmer like I am, using code Kairos, of course. K-A-I. Oh, you already know the jingle? Okay, sorry. Now these pin packs will cost 50 gems each and will contain 2 common pins and either 1 rare pin or 1 epic pin. So there's a little luck involved with unlocking the epic pins, and if you do, that is a great value. I don't know if the epic pins are going to be rarer than the rare pins, so we'll just have to find that out in the update. Now the best value when it comes to unlocking pins is absolutely going to be buying the Brawl Pass, where there's going to be 6 base pins for the newest brawler, which is now Gale, and 5 exclusive pins that will not be available ever again. By the way, if you do happen to open up a pin pack and it includes a Gale pin that you are going to later on unlock in the Brawl Pass, those pins will be replaced with Brawl Boxes when you reach that later on. Now that is currently the only way to get pins, but I would not be surprised at all if Supercell came up with some other ways to reward people with pins. I would love it if there were some super special pins that could be purchased with star points, kind of like the Gold Mecha Crow or Gold Mecha Bow, but for pins, right? I also wouldn't be surprised if Supercell awarded special pins for doing well in the championship challenge. I could see them coming up with special pins for special events, kind of like we got the Barbarian King Bull for Supercell's 10-year anniversary. I would also love it if they awarded certain pins for doing things in game, like winning so many solo showdown matches, maybe like a dynamite spinning around in circles or something like that, right? Or maybe even beating certain difficulties on special events. And I can almost guarantee you they're going to be adding new pins in the game for like the various skins that we have for all of the brawlers, right? However, there is one Phoenix Crow pin in there, which is kind of cool. Now I know that there are plenty of free-to-play players that are curious about how this is going to impact them. How do free-to-play players unlock pins? Currently, these are the only free pins in the game, and you already have them. Unless Supercell changes something before the update drops, free-to-play players aren't getting any of the Brawl pins unless you happen to have free gems saved up. I personally think that the standard pins that like we already are familiar with for the brawlers, like the individual just barley face, right? Personally, I think they should show up in the shop every now and then with the option for free-to-play players to buy them with gold, but that's just my own personal opinion. I know that it is kind of a downer, and I'll be talking about that in my 100% 100% honest update review video that I'll be doing in a few days. But for now, the free-to-play players out there, I would kind of look at these pins as you would look at any other skin or other cosmetic like that, right? Brawl Stars is a very free-to-play friendly game, and you are getting a huge progression boost this update, like huge, and even more progression that I'm going to talk about later in this video. Cosmetics like skins and pins are going to be a big way that Brawl Stars earns revenue, and that is an essential part of the game. They have to make money if they want to keep making Brawl Stars an awesome game for free-to-play players. That's just how that works. With that said though, I'll definitely share my concerns to Supercell on behalf of you guys, the free-to-play players, because I really do understand how important your opinions are. Get it? Opinions. Okay, I don't even know why I try anymore. Now let's talk about the changes coming to the special events, namely Big Game, Robo Rumble, and Boss Fight. You can now play all 3 of the special events for free on the weekend that they actually come up, right? But there's a limited number of token rewards that you can get. Spoiler alert, it's way better than in the past. On the weekend during the special events, you will get an additional quest for special events. Let's start by giving an example with Big Game. When Big Game is up, you'll have 3 100 token quests for Big Game. That's a total of 300 tokens. You complete these quests by winning matches of Big Game. 1 win for the first 100 tokens, 2 wins for the second 100 tokens, and 3 wins for the third 100 tokens. If you are the big brawler, you win if you survive for 2 minutes, at which point the match would just end. And you lose if you get taken out before that 2-minute timer is up. If you're a regular brawler, you win by taking out the big brawler before the 2 minutes are up. And you lose if you fail to do that. Now the thing is, Big Game is completely different now than it used to be. It takes place on a map the size of a showdown map, and the big boss spawns in the center while the small brawlers spawn in a circle around him or her. It looks like Supercell took away the health decay on the big boss, and the boss can survive as Mortis or like Max by simply just running away from everyone and hiding in a bush. Personally, I feel like Big Game is going to need some massive balance changes for this new mode the way that it has, but I could be completely wrong since, let's be honest, bots are not really the best test subjects. In fact, I could be completely wrong, and this could be way more fun than it used to be. Now the question is, what happens if you complete the quest for a special event like Big Game and then continue to play Big Game? Because you'll be able to do that for free. One of 2 things is going to happen. If you've already earned the maximum of the 200 free tokens for the day, you'll just be playing for fun with no token rewards, which Big Game is really fun, and this time at least you're not wasting tickets on it, right? But if you haven't earned your maximum 200 free tokens for the day, you'll earn 10 tokens for a loss and 20 tokens for a win, just like the competitive modes, without the risk of losing trophies. That's right, guys. We now have a non-competitive method for earning tokens, at least on the weekends when the special events are going on, and that is super awesome if you ask me. By the way, this is also the case for all the special events, not just Big Game, right? But now let's talk about Robo Rumble. Robo Rumble is also going to only last for 2 minutes, and just like before, your goal is to protect your safe from progressively more difficult waves of robots. Instead of earning tokens based off of time, you get 100 tokens each time you beat one of the first 5 stages. And those first stages are named just like they are in Boss Fight, right? Normal, hard, expert, master, insane. You get 5 quests for a maximum of 500 total tokens, and that's going to save you a ton of time in comparison to how Robo Rumble used to work. Now, if you play after beating Insane, you'll move on to Insane 2, Insane 3, and so on, but you won't actually earn any tokens from those because there won't be quests for that from that period on, but you'll still be able to earn some of those daily free tokens if you do have some of those available still. But here's the catch. You may want to keep playing as far as you can because the highest difficulty beat for Robo Rumble will now go on your player profile. Speaking of which, the Big Game time record is being removed from the profile, and the best time in Robo Rumble is being replaced with the highest difficulty reached on your profile. As somebody who has scored perfect for both events, I'm really sad to see them going away, but at the same time, I can understand why Supercell's removing them, and I think that these 2 new versions of Robo Rumble and Boss Fight are the right way to go for a lot of reasons. Also, guys, by the way, it is not easy to win Robo Rumble past Insane. In fact, Lex, OJ, and I failed to beat Insane 3 times before doing it successfully with maxed out brawlers, right? And we've played it a lot. We know how it works, right? By the way, you're gonna want to watch their videos to find out which one of them was Bubbles and which one of them was Blossom. But on top of that, After beating Insane 1, the only way we could beat Insane 2 was by rigging the game to put us in as 3 Jessies with the Shocky star power. And no matter how hard we tried, we could not beat Insane 3, even by exploiting it with triple Jessies. I'm really excited to see how far people are going to be able to get after the update, and also to see what kind of metas come up. By the way, if you do struggle to beat Insane for the final quest, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to complete it by finding somebody who has not started playing it yet and just like win a match with them on normal or hard or whatever, right? I love exploits. Lastly, we have boss fight. Nothing is changing as far as gameplay goes for boss fight other than the way that you earn rewards. You're keeping your old best record on your profile and the gameplay is exactly like it was before. The only difference is that rather than earning tokens by beating levels for forever, you now have 5 quests which will each earn you 100 tokens by winning the first 5 difficulties of boss fight, just like in Robo Rumble. So, as a recap, 300 total tokens is possible for big game, 500 total tokens is possible for Robo Rumble, and also 500 for boss fight as well. That is another huge progression buff for all players that was not included in my sneak peek where I talked about before the update versus after the update and how it's impacting free-to-play players. That is massive. Okay guys, now I have a bunch of super random changes coming to Brawl Stars that were not covered in my last 2 sneak peeks. And if you missed either of those, make sure you guys watch them. Otherwise, you'll be missing out on some really important information. I'll link them both below. Let's hit these changes fast. Pam got a 3D model, which you probably already know, but she got a super cool winning animation. You'll also notice that her turret got a remodel as well. And here is her losing animation. Now her brawler icon also got a change as well, and it looks super slick. Surprise, Daryl got a voice if you didn't notice in my last couple of videos.
Double barrel Daryl for the win! Har, 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 yar! Yo ho 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 ho!
On top of that, Dumpling Daryl's skin got a remodel as well and looks super clean. You'll also notice that Dark Bunny Penny got a rework to the effects on her attack. If you pay really close attention, you'll notice that her carrots are now rotten, and when they explode, little flies kind of come up, which is kind of gross and kind of funny at the same time. Mortis also got a very small tweak to his cape. It just seems to flow a little bit more closely to his body and be less stale. So yeah. Now, one important thing is that Brawl Stars is adding a skin archive to the game. And some of the skins that used to be available frequently in the Brawl Stars shop is going to be moved to that skin archive. This means that they will be removed from the shop rotation and will only be purchasable maybe once or maybe just a couple times a year. These skins include Rockabilly Mortis, Touchdown Bull, Spicy Mike, Boombox Brock, and Caveman Frank. We're getting some changes to the game modes and event rotations. Now this over here is a work in progress, and this might not even be a complete list, but some of the old maps are getting replaced with different maps. And then of course, some of the game modes are getting more maps added to them. Only time will tell if these are the actual maps that will be made into the live version. But you'll notice that we do have the new 3D environment as well. And of course, we are getting more balance changes that were not covered in my sneak peek 2 days ago. Normally I'd go over all the detailed interactions, but this video is already getting long enough. So let's hit these balance changes super quickly. Carl is getting a 16% damage buff to his super damage. This is increasing the damage from 504 damage per swing to 588 damage per swing. Sandy is getting a 10% damage buff to his attack damage, increasing his damage from 1,176 to 1,288 per attack. BB is getting a 5% nerf to her maximum health, decreasing her health from 5,880 down to 5,600 total health at max level. Sprout is getting a 6% nerf to his attack damage, decreasing his damage from 1,400 damage down to 1,316 damage. Bo's super mine placement pattern is now going to be correctly mirrored for both teams, as opposed to the placement being somewhat more random in the past. Tick's main attack pattern is going to have the same change to it, where it's now going to correctly be mirrored for both teams. Ems's hype star power is getting a 19% healing nerf. It's going from 400 healing per second per enemy in the circle down to 320 healing per second per enemy in the circle. Nita's bear paws gadget is getting a pretty hefty nerf, from being able to use it 3 times per match down to only being able to use it 2 times per match. And finally, the Ike turret in Siege is getting a 14% buff to its health. its health is being increased from 30,000 health to 35,000 health. And that is everything coming in the update that I'm allowed to show you. We still have Evil Jean, Summer Pam, Constructor Jackie, as well as this mysterious brawler that I'm going to call Jimmy. So make sure you subscribe for that. And let me know what you think about this update on a scale from 1 to 10. Is it 1, the worst update ever? 10, the best update ever? Let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. For now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.